Hi everyone, good evening. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Perfect. First of all, welcome to DurgaSoft. Today we are going to start new batch on MySQL. So first, let me explain about me. I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So currently with DurgaSoft, I'm working with MySQL and Tableau. And as you know, today we are going to start MySQL batch. Okay. So, and the duration is of 35 days, 35 sessions I'll take. Okay. And the timing is this timing only 8 p.m. IST. And in a while, I'll just show you what are all the course content, what are all the topics we are going to cover in this course. Okay. So, yeah, let's start. As today is our first class, let's try to understand. Today maybe we will talk about SQL, and this will be like introduction to SQL kind of thing. Okay. So of course, if it is possible for you, even I'll just give you. I mean, if you want, you can just unmute yourself and you can introduce about yourselves. Like, are you currently working? Do you have some prior knowledge on SQL, or are you completely new to SQL kind of things? Even you can chat in the chat box, or else even you can unmute and you can speak, or you can tell me about yourself. Anyone? Okay, that should be fine. Let's start. All right. So first, today, before understanding about what is SQL and what is database, let me talk a little bit about data. Okay. So the reason I wanted to speak about data is that we will first of all we will understand how learning SQL is important to us actually. So as we all know nowadays, like not only nowadays, from many years we are just data generation is increasing a lot, right? Especially maybe from the time of the COVID, right? Right from COVID, previously also we used to generate a lots of data, but especially from the COVID time, the data generation is increased a lot, right? We all know, right? Because of course, even we all are doing online shopping. We started doing online shopping from that time. We started doing our works in online. We are doing our work from home. Correct. We are doing many banking transactions, not only from COVID. If I talk about banking transaction, from the time when demonetization take place, at that point of time we started using digital payments, right? Maybe we started using Paytms or phone pays kind of thing. Correct. So many things we are doing online nowadays, you all know about it. Even entertainment, we are watching so many OTT platforms. Correct. Even for learning something today, we are connected online, right? The reason why I'm explaining this in the sense, actually, by doing all these things, not only this, we all know we are spending lot of time with internet nowadays. Maybe we are using so many social media applications like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? So by doing all these things, we are generating lots of data, and whatever applications we are using in our smartphones, indirectly, you all know about this point, but let me tell you once again. Whenever, suppose, imagine you install one application, maybe Amazon or something. You Whenever you try to log in into that application, you will give your, maybe either you will log in by using your mobile number or else your Gmail account, right? We all do that. And if you remember, whenever we are creating our own Gmail account initially, we need to give some details like our name. It will ask us, our gender, correct, our age, and mail ID. So not only our name, our mobile number and mail ID, even our gender and our age is also, we are actually providing all our details to the Google, correct? To the Gmail account or to the Google people. And in remaining, suppose if you are using Android phones, whatever other applications we are installing in our mobiles, while installing or while logging in, we will just accept, correct? We'll click on some accept and we will just accept some we will give some kind of permissions for them. At that time, what we are doing, whatever details we store with our Gmail account, we are indirectly giving permissions to all the remaining applications to access that data, right? Suppose Amazon, if I'm just clicking on accept, that means I'm allowing Amazon people to access the data which I gave to that particular Gmail ID, right? Likewise, all our details, like all our basic details, maybe gender, mobile number, Gmail ID, and age, basically we are giving all this data to all the applications, right? And why they need this kind of data, all the applications, in the sense, because of this data only they will actually store our data in their particular databases, and all this data they will use to do some kind of analysis, right? Why gender, why age? Maybe suppose if it is any kind of OTT platform, let's talk about Netflix, they will analyze, like, how, in watching what kind of series or watching what kind of movies males are being interested, females are showing interest in watching what kind of movies, and age groups, like, 20 to 30 age group of people are interested in watching which kind of movies, like that they will analyze. Okay, not only OTT platforms, everywhere. I'm just giving you, because we will use that application, so I'm just taking that example. So everywhere in every business nowadays, especially this is the world of data science, I can say, right? Data science, data analytics, we all know we are using so many, we got so many AI platforms nowadays, AI applications nowadays, right? So all these are the same, right? This is the world of data science, not only, and data science is one such domain, it won't stick to one single domain, right? It can be banking, it can be finance, it can be, e-commerce websites, it can be medical field, whatnot, all the fields everywhere. If any person is doing any business, in their business nowadays data analytics and data science they are including, so that, by using this technologies only they will analyze their data and they will come to some conclusion that, in which areas they are lacking and in which areas they need to concentrate more, or what kind of measures they need to take to increase their profits. Okay, just I wanted to give a small idea about it before starting about SQL. That is the reason I said, right? And now let's get back to our SQL. SQL is nothing but, as especially before understanding about SQL and databases, let me tell you, I can say SQL is a backbone for complete IT industry, right? Whatever job domain you choose, whatever job role you choose, definitely we need to have a good knowledge on SQL, right? Perfect. Actually, the reason why I'm telling all these things, in the sense, first of all, I wanted you to understand. First of all, I wanted us to remind, how we are involving in the world of data, right? That's where we can understand what is the importance of SQL and databases nowadays, right? So now, as I'm saying, every company is storing lots and lots of data, right? It can be Amazon. Let's take an example of Amazon. On daily basis it will sell lots and lots of, I mean, so many products it will sell, right? Or, worldwide, maybe in all the countries, maybe in, if let's talk about India only, in India itself, so many products it will sell online daily base. So they will store each and every detail, each and every customer details into their databases. So obviously if they are saving all this data, if every company started saving or started storing all this data, and by using this data only they are trying to do this kind of analysis, so definitely to store this huge volumes of data, we should have some, better system which can able to maintain or which can able to store the huge volumes of data, right? Here comes the picture of databases, right? Database is nothing but it's a place where we will store a data. Okay. So if you want me to tell the technical definition, I can say database is nothing but collection of data or the place where we will store data, large volumes of data. Okay, that is nothing but database. Now, what is SQL in the sense? Full form of SQL, as we all know, it's structure query language, right? And to explain, most of the students already know about the SQL, what is SQL and what is database, but still, to make you understand clearly, maybe if anyone is trying to transit their career from non IT background to IT background, and if anyone is completely new to SQL and databases, to make them understand clearly, I wanted to explain one example. After explaining that example, I'll just let's talk everything very technically. Okay, so just give me a second. I'll share my entire screen. All right. Suppose now imagine, suppose this is one school. Okay. Maybe in this school, let's talk about 10th class. We have 10th A section and 10th B section, maybe. Okay. So previously, whenever in our childhood, also, what they used to do in every class, they used to maintain one register, one physical book or physical register where they used to store all the details of the students, right? Maybe for attendance, something like that. Suppose this is one register where they used to store some student ID, that is roll number, right? Maybe student name and maybe student attendance, or else maybe students marks, something like that. Let's imagine previously they used to store everything. I mean, in my childhood, in my school, they used to store it in a physical attendance book like this, one register, right? Suppose now let's imagine, instead of storing the details of students in this kind of registers, let's imagine, let's talk about any big university. This is not a school, small school. Let's think this is as a big university, something like maybe JNTU or any another big university where they have many thousands and thousands of students. Okay, so instead of storing registers in this university, they are storing data maybe in the form of computers. Okay, so there are many ways to store the data in the form of computers. They can store data in the form of Excel file, right? Whatever I open in my system right now, this is Excel file. You all know that, right? We can save data in the form of Excel file. Like that, we have many file formats. We can save data there also. Okay. Or else, if we wanted to store and use that in a perfect manner, instead of Excel file, even they can store data in the form of database. Okay. Let's imagine this is a big university where they are maintaining their students' details in the form of database. Okay, as I said, database is something, is a place where we will store data, correct? We will store data inside database. So all the students information in this particular university, they are storing, they are maintaining their own database to store the data. Okay, now this is the scenario. Suppose in the previous scenario where they are, where the small school where they are storing data in the form of registers, in this example, one time or one day, what happened, the principal of the school, okay, the principal of the school wanted to see the performance of their students, and what he did, he called his peon. He called his peon and he said to his peon that go to 10th A section and bring the register. Okay, then this peon went to this section, he brought the register and he gave back to the principal. So whatever principal wanted to analyze, he analyzed by seeing this physical register or book. Okay, so the same example, the same scenario, if we talk in the case of database, suppose now the same example in the in this university, kind of example, in this university they are maintaining database. Okay, so if the data is inside the database, now in this case also this principal wanted to analyze the students performance. At this time, what this principal will do, so previously whenever he is telling to the peon to go to the 10th class, 10th A section and bring the register, he might use some language, right? Definitely, accordingly, maybe he might spoke in English language, Hindi language, whatever language they are comfortable. He definitely might use some language to understand Pune that go to that particular section and bring the register. Then only Pune understood what exactly principal want, and he just did that particular thing, right? In the same way, if the data is storing inside a database, whenever principal wanted to analyze something, here also to get that particular data he need to use some language. Okay, so that language is nothing but SQL. SQL is a language here which we need to use to communicate with the database. Simple. Okay, if this Pune knows English, if principal speak in English only, then Pune will understand what is principal's need, right? In the same way, whenever the data is inside database, we need to use SQL as a language to communicate with the database. Then only, database will understand exactly what we want, and accordingly it will, give us the data, or accordingly it will fulfill our requirements. Okay, I hope I'm clear what is database and what is SQL.
Yes.
Perfect. So now let's talk about technical definitions here. So database, as I said, it's nothing but collection of data. So SQL, that is structured query language, in the sense it's a language used to communicate with the database. Okay. So SQL is a language which is used to basically communicate with the database. Okay, simple. Perfect. So now, so I said database is nothing but it is a collection of data, right? Whenever we are storing data inside the database, what we will do, we will create tables. Okay, or every time we will store data in the form of tables inside a database. So first we will create database, then we will create tables, and inside the tables we will store the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, let's see, suppose, let me take one simple example of maybe employees table. I wanted to store some employees data. Okay, so my table name is employees and my column names are maybe employee ID, employee name, okay, or maybe salary, and maybe date of joining. Okay, these four are my columns. Now let me enter some random data here quickly. So this employees will be my table name now. Okay. In this, I'm storing four columns. Okay. As I said, inside a database, we'll create tables, and inside tables, we will store the data in the form of rows and columns, right? So vertical thing is called as columns. That is, here we are having four columns. Employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column, and date of joining is one column. Whereas horizontal thing is called as row. That is, this is first row of data, right? This is first row of data, and this is second row of data, like that. Okay, so table is always the combination of rows and columns. Of course we all know that, but still, right? So here I wrote this inside Excel file, right? I just gave one table name and I just randomly enter the data here. But usually we will create databases and we will store all these things, all the tables or everything inside SQL by using some syntaxes. Okay, we will see about that in a while. And before that, am I missing anything? Yeah, this is about tables. Now let me tell you one more point here. So I explained about what is SQL and I said we are going to learn MySQL. So, what is the difference between SQL and what is, I mean, generally, what is SQL and what is MySQL? Let me tell you. So, SQL is nothing but it is a language, as I said, which is used to communicate with the database, right? So, SQL is actually it is a universal declared language. Okay, whatever database it is to communicate with the database, we will use SQL only. And what are all the concepts we have? That concepts will be same. The concepts is of SQL concepts only. But again, there are different types of databases available in the market. Okay, we have so many databases available in the market, something like Oracle SQL, okay, MySQL, SQL Server, like that. Maybe PostgreSQL, MongoDB, like that. We are having so many different databases in the market, but the concept is same. SQL, whatever we are learning, whatever concepts I'll show you in a while, which we are covering, that concepts will be same. But to use that concepts, maybe we will have different databases, something like Android is an OS, right? If we are using Android phone, that is nothing but a kind of SQL. But inside Android, to use Android, we have so many mobiles, so many companies, like maybe OnePlus, Samsung, like that. These are different companies in the market. Okay, Oracle SQL and MySQL are the products from Oracle. Likewise, my SQL Server is a product from Microsoft, like that. Okay, these are just different databases, but the concepts which we are going to learn is the same. And once we learn this concept by using any one kind of database, the syntaxes, I mean, you can use the same concepts in all the databases. The syntaxes will be same. Okay, only there will be very small slight differences, maybe for some particular databases, but mostly 99% the concepts and the concepts, of course, same. Syntax is also 99% it will be same. Okay, here we are actually learning MySQL. The reason to learn MySQL here is MySQL is an open source platform. Okay, open source platform in the sense it is actually freely available for everyone. Okay, so MySQL is an open source platform. Everyone freely they can access this thing, and that is the reason all the companies nowadays, most of the companies, even MNCs or even startup companies, everyone are preferring to use MySQL, and that is the reason I included MySQL as a database in our course. Okay, and one more thing you need to understand here, we have something called as RDBMS. Okay, that is nothing but relational database management system. Okay, so relational database management system. Usually SQL always follows RDBMS techniques. Okay, this is one kind of a management system which which SQL will follow. Okay, so what is RDBMS in the sense, as I said, every we will first create a database, and inside the database we will create tables, right? Basically we will store all our data in the form of tables only, right? So what is RDBMS in the sense, if our tables are related to each other, okay, if our tables are related to each other, then we will call it as it is following RDBMS technique, okay, or DBMS concept. Okay, if any database, inside any database, if all the tables are related to each other, then we can say that database is actually following RDBMS only. Okay, that is about RDBMS. Am I clear? If you didn't understand anything, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, and let's keep this session interactive actually. Perfect. So yeah, thank you for your response. So this is about RDBMS basically. Okay, and what all the databases list I just wrote, and not only this, we have so many databases available in the market right now. All these databases follows RDBMS only. Okay, so all the databases which are following, suppose yes.
Sorry to interrupt. So what is the meaning of, what is the meaning of relational databases? I mean, can you please give an example here?
This one.
Yes. What is the meaning of that being said, so what is the, you said like the table should be relational, right? Here,
Right, right.
what is the meaning of relational?
Sure, I'll tell you. Okay, so what are all the applications I mentioned here? First of all, not only this, I just gave only 4 examples. We have so many databases available in the market, and if any database we are saying, if we are learning SQL concept, that means it is actually following RDBMS techniques, and all these applications which I gave as example, that all follows RDBMS only. Actually, databases we have of 2 types. Okay, one is SQL and the another one is no SQL. Okay,
Okay.
SQL in the sense all the things whatever I said, structured query language, all this SQL definitely follows RDBMS technique. What is RDBMS, what is relationally, I mean how it is related to each other, I'll explain you in a while. But so SQL, inside SQL, it definitely follows this RDBMS technique. All the tables will be related to each other. What are all the examples I said? And not only these 4 examples, we have few more examples, few more databases which are following RDBMS technique. And we have something called as NoSQL. And the example for NoSQL is MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB is the one which which is actually a NoSQL database. Okay, so this is different. If you are learning this particular course, if you are learning not only here, anywhere, if you learn any of this, if you learn Oracle SQL, if you learn SQL Server, all of them the concepts will be same. It will follow, that is we will call it as SQL, and it will follow RDBMS technique. If you learn any one database, you can use any of this. But with this concepts, with this knowledge, we can't access, we can't use MongoDB. This will be completely different. Okay, because that is actually no SQL, that is completely different from SQL. Okay, so here what is SQL, what is not no SQL, and what is relational database management system, what is tables related to each other, in the sense it's simple. So actually, as I said, we will store all the data in the form of tables, right? For example, in my database I have some 8 tables, imagine. Okay, anyways, in a couple of days I'll show you everything very practically, but for now, to give you an idea, I'm explaining you like this. Suppose imagine I'm having some 8 tables. Say if it is maybe any kind of HR analytics domain. Let's imagine in HR analytics domain, what kind of data I'll have. Maybe one table I'm having like employees data, one table I'm having something like address, one table maybe I'm having like manager, like this. Imagine I'm having some 8 tables. So all the 8 tables should be related to each other. In this, related to each other in the sense, I should have a relationship. My tables should be related to each other. This table, it doesn't mean that every table should be, I mean, I should have a relationship between employees table and address table, like that. Maybe employees table and manager table, if I have any fourth table, that table and any one of the table, like that. It doesn't mean employees table should be related with address, manager, next fourth table, fifth table, like that. But at least, you know every table should be related with at least one table in the complete database. Here how it will be related, in the sense, we will have a common column in between. Okay, common column, I'll show you practically maybe tomorrow. Okay, I'll show you the real time database, or else just give me a second. Now only I'll show you, just a second. Let me open SQL. See, common column in the sense, for example, if it is employees table here, if it is employees table here, imagine, let me write it. So if it is employees table here, imagine maybe I'm having employee ID and employee name in this table. Okay, only 2 columns. Okay, and in address table, I should definitely have again employee ID and address. Okay, and in manager table, maybe I should have, in manager table also, maybe I should have employee ID, manager ID, like this. So here employee ID is a common column. If you observe, employee ID is here also, it is common, here also it is common, here also it is common. Okay, and suppose if I have any departments table, and here suppose if I have department ID and maybe manager ID, and maybe something like department name. Okay, here if you observe, I don't have employee ID. It doesn't mean that every table I should have employee ID, but at least each table should be related with any other table. In this common column, what is the common column? Manager ID, manager ID I'm having. So manager and departments table are related with each other. Employees table, address table related with each other. Employees table, manager table related with each other. How I'm saying related in the sense, we will have a common column. Definitely we should have a common column in between. By using that common column, actually we will create a relationship that is called as foreign key. Going forward, we will learn practically. Okay, we have something called as foreign key. Actually, by creating foreign key relationship, by using foreign key only, we will create a relationship between two tables. Okay, that is what it means. Okay, the tables are related with each other in the sense, in every table definitely we need to have a foreign key relationship. Okay, then only we will say that database is following our DBMS technique. Am I clear?
Yes, got it.
Yes, me?
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. You're welcome. So like that. Okay, so as I said, in NoSQL, in nowadays in market we have only MongoDB, which is actually applicable nowadays. So with this knowledge, with this concepts, we can't use MongoDB because that is completely different. In that, in that database, it won't follow our DBMS technique. Their tables won't be related to each other. That is completely different. Okay, actually we, but our main focus is that we are talking about MySQL or the databases which are actually following our DBMS techniques. Okay, like that. So not only, suppose for example you are learning MySQL now, and after joining in any company, in your company if they are using SQL Server, no problem, everything is same. Okay, each and every syntax what we are going to learn, each and every concept, whatever we are going to learn, everything is same. You can apply the same thing in any of the databases. Okay, everything will be same, no problem. So like that, this is an basic idea about what is SQL and what is database. If everything is clear, if you have any doubts you can ask me, but if everything is clear, let's actually go to our MySQL application and let's try to understand the user interface of MySQL. Anyone, any questions? All right, now let's see about MySQL user interface maybe. Okay, once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. No worries. Okay, so once we open our application, this is our first page. We need to click on this local instance. Just give me a moment. I'll just close my previous files. All right, so this is a MySQL workbench. Okay, so yeah, if you can see, this is obviously, this is, we will call it as menu bar. This is toolbar. Okay, we have some options like file, edit, view. Going forward, whenever we are learning each and every concept, we will see all these options. Okay, and the same things, we will have some toolbars here. Okay, and especially we will concentrate on main things today. So first of all, we have something called as schemas here, and below that you can see some names here. Okay, this is actually nothing but list of the databases available, the list of my databases. Okay, what are all the databases I created in my system, all this is the list. Okay, so initially whenever we install this software, we will have only sys database. Okay, once you create your own database, then that particular database name you can see here. Okay, so this is about databases list, and below you can see something called as information section. This is actually, suppose in every database, first of all we have four sections. Okay, one is tables, views, stored procedure, functions. In our course we will learn all of this. Okay, first now let's concentrate on the tables. Going forward we will see what is views, what is stored procedures, how how we will use them, why we will use them, everything we will learn. Okay, so suppose, let me expand table section. Okay, suppose we have some employees table. If I'm clicking on employees table, below in the information section we can find some information about it, like it is showing me how many columns are there. We going forward, I'll explain you what is data types. So how, what are all the data types we have, like that information we can observe in this section. Okay, and this bottom, whatever you can see, this is actually output section. Once we execute our queries, we can observe the outputs here. Okay, here, this is the output section, and this is a place where we will actually write our queries. Okay, so we will open a SQL files and we will write all the queries here. So to open a SQL file, to open a new file, either in the file menu, we need to click on new query tab. Then one file will see, now file SQL file 11, new file is open for me. Or else shortcut is that the first icon here in the toolbar, first icon, this one. Okay, if I click on that also, again we can open a new file, like that. Once we open any new file, we can see some symbols here. The first symbol is that, or else first the second symbol is that after writing any any kind of code, we can just, if we want to save that, we can just click on this save button. Okay, then it will allow us to save that particular SQL file in our systems, right? This is about the save button. And the first option is folder icon. So if you want to open already saved files, then you need to click on this folder icon and we can access from here. Suppose I'm just opening one of my folder. Okay, like this. We can open or we can access any folders by using this folder icon. Just to open a already saved file, second icon is to save the file, and the third icon is execute button. Okay, this button is nothing but execute button. After writing any SQL queries, if we want to execute, we need to click on this particular button. Okay, for now these are enough, remaining we will see going forward. Okay, so let me open a new file here. Okay, so this is about a basic understanding about the user interface. Okay, now let's try to create our first database, and let's try to create any table now. Okay, so first thing we need to make sure, every time whenever we are creating, either whenever we are creating a database or whenever we are creating a table, every time we need to give unique names. Okay, already existing names we should not give. If we are giving, it will just throw us error. Okay, so let me just check, just give me a second. Alright, so let's create our first database. Okay, before creating a database, let me tell you some points. Okay, SQL, as I said, it is a language which is used to communicate with the database, right? Okay, so SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database, and SQL is actually, especially MySQL, is case insensitive. That means we can use both uppercase or lowercase, no problem. Okay, it is case insensitive, you can use anything. If you're using uppercase, lowercase, anything is okay. Okay, so next we have something called as comments here. Okay, if you observe, I'm writing all these things inside this, I mean by using this symbol, right? I'm using two hash I mean this two hyphens, this symbol, and inside this I'm writing like this. So that is nothing but comments. Not only in SQL, in every programming language, it can be Java, Python, anywhere. In every programming language, we will have something called as comments. That is nothing but whatever we will write inside comments, that will be non-executable. If you don't want to execute anything, we need to write that inside comments. Okay, in real time, whenever, suppose if we wrote anything mistake, if we are checking something, if you don't want to execute that particular thing, then we will write comments, we will use comments like this before them. Okay, here in explanation process, generally I'll write notes, whatever theory parts, theory kind of notes will be there, no, I'll write that notes inside comments. Okay, like that. So generally comments we have two types. One is single line comments. Okay, second one is multi-line comments. So single line comments is nothing but in one line, if we are ending, if we want to write only one line, that will be single line comments, and the symbols used for single line comments are either this one, whatever I already used, or else hash. If we write hash also, that is also considered as comment. Okay, multi-line comments in the sense we will start writing like this: one hash, like one slash and then star, and we can write anything here in multiple lines, and to close that again we need to use star slash, like this is the start of the comment, this is the end of the comment, in between we can write any number of lines. Okay, this is called as multi-line comments. Whatever we are writing inside, that is non-executable, we can't we don't execute that like that. Am I clear about comments? Okay, now let's create our database, first database. So here, as I said, for each and every concept we will have something called as syntax. Okay, syntax is nothing but you can understand something like a formula, or some rule which we need to follow to do any particular task. Okay, so for every concept we will have some syntaxes, we need to follow that syntax only. Okay, so for creating database also we will have some syntax. The syntax is that create database, database name. Okay, so create database, database name is our syntax. So let's do that. Create database, let me give any database name, maybe I'll give it as SQL 8. Okay, like this. So after writing, we need to select and we need to click on this icon to execute. Now at the bottom in the output section you can see it got executed. If you can see green color tick mark like this, that means it is executed successfully. If you get any errors, it will show us red color cross mark. Okay, so now our database is created. We created a new database. So to see this, to reflect this database name in this list, actually we will have a refresh button here. We need to refresh, then only we can able to see this particular thing here. So let me click on this refresh. Now let's observe we got SQL 8 here. This is the database which we created just now, right? Like this we will create the database first. After creating database only we will create tables. Okay, and here I created the database. I want to use this particular database, but to use this particular database, first of all, every time I need to activate the database. Okay, I need to activate the database. Why I need to activate the database? In the sense, if you can see, I'm having so many databases here, right? So if suppose I write, if I create any table, if I execute any particular query, SQL won't understand. It will get confused that which database I wanted to use, inside which database it should execute that particular query. So to avoid that confusion, every time whenever we started working on it, we need to first activate the database. Whatever database is in activation, inside that database only the queries will be executed. Okay, actually in real time, to be frank, we will connect to our client's database and we will work at that time, no need of activating the database. But here in learning process you can see I'm having so many databases, that is the reason we need to activate. For now, if you observe, all the database names are normally it's in a normal form, I mean in a normal letters, but DurgaSoft is database name is, it is in some bold color, right, dark black color, because this is in currently this database is in activation. Okay, Now I wanted to use SQL8 database, so I wanted to activate that particular database. So how we will activate? To activate the database also, we will have one syntax, that is use database name. Okay, so I'll write it as use SQL8 like this. If you observe, I'm writing syntaxes or theory part inside comments, and whatever I'm executing, I'm writing normally, right? I didn't use any syntax, any comments here, because if we are writing anything in comments, that means it is not executable, right? Like that. So now let me activate by actually executing this particular thing, use SQL8. Okay, so I'm selecting, I'm executing, it got executed. Now let's observe. See, now SQL8 is highlighted here, right? It went into dark black color, correct? Now whatever queries I will execute, all that queries will be executed inside this database only, like that. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Perfect. So we created the database, we activated the database. Now let's try to create our first table. Okay, so for that, let's see about create command. Here we have some commands in our second, our second topic is about commands. We will learn at that time very clearly. But for now, let's try to understand about create command. Create command is something which is used to create any database object. Okay. So here database objects in the sense, database objects in the sense it can be table, it can be view, it can be stored procedure, like this. We will all of them, we will call it as database objects, and to create all of them we will use create syntax only. Okay, now let's focus on creating a table. Okay, to create table, again we are having one syntax, that is create table. Actually, before understanding create table syntax, we have very less time. First, let me just show you what is the course content we are going to cover in this particular course, then we will go back to the create syntax. Okay, so this is a course content, starting from right from scratch, very basic concept, till the very advanced concept. We are covering all the concepts. Okay, I'm not missing any single concept. We are covering all the concepts of SQL in our course. Okay, as you know, the course duration is of 35 days, and the concepts which we are going to cover is introduction to database and SQL, which is almost we will finish today. Limitations of Excel file, of course we can able to store data in the form of Excel, right? Then already we are having Excel, then what is the need of storing data in the databases? So that actually we have some limitations in Excel file. What are all the limitations we have, we will learn, we will see. Okay, then not tomorrow, after some days I will explain about this particular concept. Then creation of database and tables, MySQL installation, data types in SQL, SQL commands or sublanguages. We have something called as sublanguages concept. In that we are having five types, that is DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, DQL. Okay. In each of this sublanguage, again we will have some commands. I'll explain all of them very clearly and detailedly going forward. Okay, next we have something called as integrity constraints. That is nothing but we have check constraint. Okay, default constraint, like that. We have some keys, we will learn all the keys in this particular concept. Okay, so up to here, whatever I wrote up to integrity constraints, these are completely basics of SQL. So to make everyone understand, I'll explain these concepts by using normal tables, maybe employees table, maybe so students table, like that. Once we are done with that, our here the specialty of my course is that I will explain each and every concept by using a real-time database, by using a live project, by using a real-time database. Okay, here we are going to use movies database, which is considered as an OTT platform, that is Netflix kind of database. Okay, so I'll give the database. Once we are done with basic concepts, at this point of time, I'll give you the real-time database. I'll explain you about this database. I'll show you how to restore that particular database into your systems. And from here, each and every concept we will use this particular database only, and I can say this is the specialty of my uh, you know of my course. Because in most of the institutes, by using normal simple employees table and students table only, they will teach all the concepts. But going forward, once we started working in any company, definitely we will work on real time project where we will have some thousands and thousands of rows and so many tables. Now in learning process only, if we are learning by using real time database, we will get used to it. We will get used to how we need to deal with a real time database or a big database like that. So after explaining this database, we will start our main concepts from here. That is, first we have something called as operators and clauses. In that we have where clause, order by clause, operators, SQL operators like and, or, not operator, range operator, membership operator, that is between operator and in operator, and like operator. This is again very important operator. Like operator is nothing but which is used for pattern matching of the data. Okay, for checking some patterns in the data, we will use like operator. We have something called as wildcards in it. We will see each and every wildcard very detailedly. From here, we will learn each and every concept by solving examples very practically. I won't simply explain the concept and simply say the syntax. I'll explain each and every concept by solving the examples on this particular database. Okay, then only you will be, you will get some hands-on experience, correct? Like that. And clauses like uh, where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause, like that we have some clauses. Next, functions, we have numerical function, character function, date function, aggregate function. And in that again we are having so many functions. I mean, inside numerical function we are having so many functions. In each and every section we have different functions. We will learn each of them. Okay, then important concept, that is joins. I can say joins is the backbone of SQL. Okay, once we started working in any company, mostly we will do we will use joins concept. Okay, very important concept. So here we are having so many types of joins, like inner join, left join, right join. Okay, outer join, self join, class join, natural join, like this we have so many joins. I'll explain each and every join by solving so many examples on this real-time database only. Not only the examples which I will solve in this class, especially for joins concept, as this is important, and only for the joins concept I'll give some assignment questions. Again, it's your choice. If you get some time, you can just solve those questions so that you can check whether you can able to actually solve joins, whether you can able to write syntaxes for joins, you can able to solve some questions on joins. You can check. I'll give some time, and after maybe 1 week or 10 days, I will explain that questions in class once so that you can check whatever you wrote whether it is correct or not. Okay, like that. Only for joins, I'll you know specially do like this because this is an important concept. Okay, next, regular expression, one more advanced and important concept which is actually used for again pattern matching of the data. Just like, however, we will search for the patterns of data by using like operator previously. Okay, regular expression also do the same, but here we have so many so many options, so many anchors to search for the patterns. We will learn each and everything very practically. Okay, that is, we will call it as anchors in regular expression, we will see. Then we have advanced clauses like group by clause, having clause, using aggregate functions inside group by clause. Okay, these are also clauses, but to understand, actually here I wrote all the clauses, right? But to understand group by clause and having clause, we need to understand joins concept. That is the reason. After joins, we will learn group by clause, having clause, and using aggregate functions inside group by clause. Okay. Then subqueries, one more important concept. We have two types of subqueries, that is correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery. Inside a non-correlated, again we have two types like single row subquery, multi-row subquery. We will learn all of them very practically by solving some examples. Next, normalization, denormalization, and normal forms. No one will include this concept in their course content. You can check in anywhere also. If they include also, they will only explain you rules. But here, I will show you one real-time raw data file, and I'll show you the process practically how we are going to convert denormalized data into normalized form by using three normal forms. Okay, 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF. I'll show you this practically by showing a real time sample data of sales. Okay, so this is about normalization and denormalization. Denormalization is nothing but if we are storing all the data in one large table, we will call it as denormalization. But if we store data in the form of denormalization, we will have some limitations. What are the limitations we have if we store the data in the denormalization? First of all, what is denormalization? I'll show you how we will store data in denormalization. If we are storing data like that, what are all the problems we have? And because of that, normalizations came into existence. To convert a denormalized data into normalized form, we need to use this 3NFs. Okay, in each normal form, we will have some rules. By following that rules, I'll show you practically how we are going to convert denormalized data into normalized form. Okay, once we are done with that, ER diagrams. Next, views concept, one more important concept. Not only explaining here, especially for views, index, temporary tables from here, I'll say you why we are going to use these concepts in real time, in which examples, in which scenarios we will use these concepts. Okay. So what are views? How we are going to use? What is the use case of use? We will see. Next, indexes. How many types of indexes are there? In which scenarios we will use this index? Next, temporary tables. Temporary tables is something which is very important and easy, of course, but important. Actually, if we have some duplicate data, definitely whenever we are working on real time data, we will have so many duplicate values. Okay, at a time if we want to remove duplicate values, we will use this temporary tables concept. So we will see practically how we are going to use temporary tables for removing duplicate data at a time, like that. Next, CT is one more very advanced concept which is called as common table expression. Okay, so common table expression, that is in short we'll call it as CTEs. What is CTEs, why we will use them, we will learn practically. Next, stored procedure, very important and very useful concept. Suppose if I imagine on daily basis I have some task. Okay, I have to perform three kinds of joins on daily basis. So instead of writing this complete queries or complete syntaxes every day, I can create a stored procedure. Inside a procedure, I can save this three kind of tasks, and instead of writing all these lengthier codes every day, I can just simply call this procedure and then I can finish my work. This is very important. In real time we will use stored procedures a lot. So why it is useful, how we are going to use it, we have some parameters in it, something like in parameter and out parameter. We will discuss detailedly by seeing some examples. Next, very important and one more advanced concept nowadays, in every interviews, this became a compulsory interview question. If you already face any interviews even with some experience, you or else you can just find out, this is one of the important interview questions right now, that is Windows function. Previously I didn't included this in my course content. Upon my students request, I added this from last few batches. So something like Windows function, we have five types of Windows function, that is rank, dense rank, row number, next lead and lag. Okay, those two functions are not printed here, but we have two more functions called as lead and lag. We will discuss all these five types of functions detailedly by very practically. Okay, this is called as window functions. So at the end, we will discuss some important interview questions. So this is the course content which we are going to cover in our course, starting from the very scratch to the very advanced concepts like window functions and CTs, store procedures. We will discuss everything very practically by using this real-time database. Okay, this is about our course content, and as you know, the course duration is of 35 days, 35 sessions. I'll take maximum classes will be from Monday to Friday. I won't take Saturday, Sunday, but if needed, any one or two Saturdays I'll take. But again, if needed, only I'll take at least one Saturday, or else that is suppose if any holidays come in between, any festivals, any holidays come in between, then I'll take any Saturday, or else only from Monday to Friday. Okay, 35 sessions. And this is a course content. And as you know, the course fees is of only 4,000. Okay, here, and one more speciality of my courses, let me tell you, I don't believe in giving theory kind of notes. Okay, I'll once we are done with each and every concept, I'll upload these files for you as notes. Here only you can find, you know, theory kind of notes along with the examples, along with the syntaxes, everything. For example, if it is index here, you can see if there is any theory, first I'll explain it here only, then at the bottom you can see, syntaxes, everything. If it is joins, like with each and every examples, we will solve so many examples, especially on joins. Everything I'll upload this files only for you. Okay, instead of giving only theory kind of notes, definitely no one are going to ask us about the definitions in the interviews, right? Everyone nowadays, they are asking us practically to they are giving some questions, and they are expecting us to solve them or write the syntaxes for that. So I'll share these files for you as a notes. Okay, our first demo anyways. Tomorrow also we will have a demo class only. Attend tomorrow's class also continuously. We will learn how we are going to, basically create a table, and continuously tomorrow we will see everything practically. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just thought I got disconnected. So yeah, tomorrow is also our demo only. Just continue, I mean, for now we stopped at creating table, right? We'll continue from creating table, and we will see, maybe we will start understanding about sub languages concept tomorrow. Okay, if you have any other questions, you can ask me now.
Ma'am, in syllabus, are you
Mhm.
explaining these cursors and exception handling and this
That
function?
is, yeah, that is actually PLSQL concepts. Okay, we have procedural languages, PLSQL. Curses and exception handling comes under PLSQL. We are covering only SQL concepts here.
Okay.
Okay, remaining all concepts are same. After, along with these concepts, we have something called as cursor and exception handling. Okay, so this two concepts comes under PLSQL, actually procedural
Optimization,
language.
are you discussing about these partitions and uh, like interpreting the plan, how in the
Sorry,
optimization
interpreting the optimization
plan?
techniques.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that is also comes under PLSQL only. But here in SQL point of view,
Ma'am, you are not audible.
any other questions, anyone? Can you hear me?
Ma'am, I can hear you.
So,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, please tell me. Anyone asking anything?
yes, so you're using MySQL here, right? So all the
Correct.
syntaxes will be used for DBware also, right?
Yes.
Same things will be there,
Okay.
right?
Same thing, same thing. The syntaxes, the concepts, everything will be same.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
All right. Okay then. If that is so, let's meet in tomorrow's demo. As I said, tomorrow is also demo class only. Just attend tomorrow also, then you will get, a complete idea of the way of my explanation maybe. Okay. Let's meet in tomorrow's class.
And the actual class will start from 25th of April?
Yeah, actually the thing is, you know, even if you don't, I mean, these are all the basics, right? From tomorrow only our actual classes will start, I can say. Of course these are basics only, of course these are demos only, but still I will explain, create a concept, I mean all the commands, and along with that we will have this sub languages concept, right? So I'll start explaining all of this. I can say from
Sure.
tomorrow only our actual classes is going to start. Of course these 2 3 days are demos only, but still I'll discuss actual concepts only.
Sure, okay. And the notes and all you'll be giving, no? I mean, notes in the
Yes.
sense, whatever you said.
Correct. Once you get registered with us, they will give you one folder access. I'll show you how to access that files. Daily wise videos, okay? Whatever I will, we will have this complete video recordings will be available for you. Along with that, once we're done with the topic, I'll share you the notes.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions, guys? All right. If that is so, we will meet in tomorrow's class. Okay. Bye. Thank you.